Hello and welcome to another video. Today you join me back at the Island Fisheries in Mere. I'm fishing swim 4 and I have 24 hours on the bank. I arrived just before 1 o'clock, my ticket starts from 1 till 1. And first things first, I got the bivvy up. There was a few showers on the way here and it is forecast, well, the wind's pretty bad today. We've got a yellow warning of wind, and from about 7 o'clock tonight it's heavy rain all through till tomorrow, so I'm going to be packing up in the rain if the forecast is correct. I've got all 3 rods out as well. I've done that sort of the last hour or so. Got all 3 rods where I want them. I've got my right hand rod out in a channel, about 14.5 wraps towards a bush on the far island. I've got my middle rod, about 13 wraps, just in the channel again, but off of the left island in front of me. And then on my left hand rod I've got that right out in front of the island, about 5 foot off, got a nice firm dunk. It's meant to be a gravel patch there, and it certainly feels like that, so I've got that there. I'll go through my tactics with you later. I'm also going to go through my last few sessions I've had on the bank. As I mentioned in the last video, a few sessions I haven't actually recorded or done very little recording to make into a video, so I'll go through that and how successful they were and where I went, etc., and sort of the tactics I used. But without further ado, I'm going to get the stove on, make myself the first cup of tea of the session, and fingers crossed, be into a fish. So as I've just been picked up by one of the birds out there, I thought before I cast it back out I'll run through the tactics and the rig that I'm using today. So all 3 rods are fishing exactly the same. I've got about 12 inches of tubing there, just above the lead clip system. And on that system I've got a 2.5 ounce lead. And attaching the rig to the main line I've got a QC swivel. On the rig itself I've actually got anti-tangle sleeve for those anti-tangle properties. I've got about 8 inches of ESP tungsten braid coated material, and as we move down I've got a little bit uncoated just above the hook and then uncoated for the hair itself. And on the hook I've got a kicker and I've got a little bit of silicone tubing to sort of give it that blowback effect. And that's the rig and tactics I'm using on all 3 rods. All I'm doing is attaching a PVA mesh bag of 3 individual boilies and attaching that to the hook when I'm casting out there. The baiting approach I'm using for this session, I've got about 100 baits over my middle and right hand rod, 2 that are in the channel between the 2 islands out in front of me. The rods themselves are only about 10 feet away from each other, so I've got a wide area of bait out there, and I'm hoping that that's going to produce a fish today. My left hand rod I haven't gone so gun-ho with the bait. I've only put about 10 to 20 boilies out there on top of that rod, so 2 different approaches. Hopefully one of those will work for today, but without further ado I'm going to make myself another brew and hopefully we'll get a fish before this evening. Right, so it's just coming up to 6 o'clock and it's just about getting dark. The sun's just about to set behind the trees behind the bivvy. As of yet, still no action, although I have seen 3 fish just above my spot out towards the channel between the 2 islands. 3 fish showed earlier in about 20 minutes of each other, so I'm feeling quietly confident going into the night that we're certainly in the right area. I have made one adjustment to my tactics, and that's my left hand rod. Instead of out towards the island straight behind me, I've got another channel going into swim 5. In speaking to the bailiff, there's quite a hot spot there in that little channel, so I've put one tight to the island just by some grassy reeds. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to speak to you a little bit about the recent sessions I've been doing while I haven't really been doing any filming. So the first session was with Joe, who you would have seen before in a few of my videos. We fished wadmill at Tobber Manor, and that was a bit more productive. We both had a few F1s between us, and I managed carp just going into the double figure mark, round about a 10-pound mark. Since then I've managed to fish Percy's Port on the Digger Lake complex down near Exeter with Joe once again. Unfortunately that resulted in a blank for me, but Joe himself managed to bag a 18-pound 11-ounce mirror carp, and it was certainly a special fish with a real nice orange belly to it. So that meant we went home happy. We'd seen a fish, and in quite tough conditions as well. It was really windy once again, with winds up to about 45 miles an hour, some strong gusts coming in. So we were very relieved to see that one being caught. But anyway, I'm going to have myself some dinner, and then by then it'll probably be dark. Get a bit more bait out before last night, and then hopefully I'll see you in the evening with fish. Good morning, and it's been a pretty uneventful night if I'm honest. I haven't had a peep out of either of my 3 rods, and as of about 10 o'clock last night I absolutely lashed it down. And that's only really eased off in the last couple of hours and only just stopped so I was able to record. But I got up about 6 o'clock to watch the water, pop the bivvy door down, and just watched the water for about half an hour and didn't really see a lot, if I'm honest. No shows. So I've decided to actually leave my 3 rods where they are. I'm not going to reposition them now. I'm confident with where the spots are. They went down with a firm dunk yesterday, so I'm confident they're in the right spots, and they're in the areas where I saw the fish yesterday. So fingers crossed when they come back around we might snag ourselves one before the end of the session. But without further ado, I'm absolutely starving, so I'm going to get some breakfast on and the first cup of tea of the day, and hopefully we can get ourselves a fish. Unfortunately that's going to be it for today's session, guys. Unfortunately it does result in enough of blank for myself, but I decided to make the most of the break in the rain. It's just come up to about 11 o'clock now, and the rain has finally just stopped, so I'm going to pack up the gear and head home. But thank you very much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, it's very much appreciated. And also go follow me on Instagram under JW Fishing. That's where I regularly post some content as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.